It's over.
No, it ain't over. This is just the beginning.
Verrückt was the second zombies map to ever be added into World at War. With the first map, Nocturne Totem, being a basic simple test build, Verrückt would be more ambitious. Instead of just basically making a new map with nothing new, they decided to actually add a lot of things. This map would basically be the baseline for every single zombies map. This is the basic code of every zombies map. Verrückt would be the baseline. This is what every zombies map at this point includes, and basically is the foundation of every map. If you go back to Verrückt, you can find basically everything that every zombies maps includes besides basically an Easter egg, which still hasn't been added yet. But is Verrückt still as good as I think Nocturne Totem is? And since it's a second attempt, at this point they've now had time, I'm going to be a little harsher this time. I still understand it's their first zombies mode. At this point they've made their first map, you're now onto your second, and let's see if they can do bigger and better things. Welcome back to another JD I Guess video, and where today we're going to be going into Verrückt and what I think about it. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into this. First is we're going to be going over the story, which has a little more than Nocturne Totem, but it's still basically nothing. For the first time in the series, we have something of what we would call an operator. And basically all you do is just have quips. I'm pretty sure every character sounds the same, I can't tell. I could never tell the difference between any of them.
Shit! No power! My all-time favorite pistol! Blow you back to hell! You brain-dead bastards ain't getting close!
Apparently one of them is Tank Dempsey, so we got him too. Basically what happens is these people go into an insane asylum in Germany and are trying to save an American spy named Peter McCain. Of course, they find it overran by zombies, and the whole goal is to survive as long as you can. Now, unfortunately, again, this basically has no story. There's no Easter egg, there's just nothing to really talk about here. And I get it, it's the second map, and they hadn't had any clues that, Easter eggs would be something that we want. But to compare to what we have now, this is nothing. And so again, I gotta give it a 1 out of 10. It talks about nothing. It did nothing. It says it has a little more. I guess I can give it credit for that, but it still basically is nothing. Next part of Verrückt is the gameplay, and this is where Verrückt, in my opinion, really shines. First, let's go over the worst part. The Verrückt Sprinters. Oh, the Verrückt Sprinters, how much I love you. After round 5, the zombies do a line of coke and become sprinters. Way worse than what they were in Nocturne Totem. These guys are insanely fast. They can corner you and get you destroyed in an instant. These guys are usually what end your run. While the Verrückt Sprinters aren't impossible to deal with, they're annoying on early rounds when you don't have your perks, which we're going to talk about the perks now. We have finally gotten probably my favorite part of all zombies, the Perk-a-Colas. I'm sorry guys, I'm just a perkaholic, you know what I mean? There are 4 Perk-a-Colas on this map, being Juggernog, Speed Cola, Double Tap Root Beer, and Quick Revive. We're going to first start off talking about Quick Revive, the worst perk, because it does nothing if you play solo like me. All it literally does is make reviving teammates faster, but in solo, it's a useless purchase, so it's useless to me, because I only play in solo. The next one is Double Tap Root Beer. Double Tap makes your gun go twice as fast, meaning it does more damage. Unfortunately, the caveat is you're going to run out of ammo quicker. So hopefully you know how to keep your ammos tight. Next is Speed Cola. This makes your reloads faster, and in this map where you're going to be running a lot, this is a very much essential perk. And finally, the greatest perk of all, the GOAT perk, the Crutch perk, Juggernog. Juggernog really makes you feel like you're invincible. It makes you from a 2-hit to a 5-hit. Fortunately, in this game, you heal really quick, so basically, you're invincible. Without Juggernog, you're basically useless in this map. You gotta pray you can get Juggernog before like wave 7, or else you're dead. The Sprinters will get you, and Juggernog makes it playable. This also was the first map ever to introduce the power system. If you played this game in co-op, you would be split up from your teammate and have to turn on the power to unite. Now in solo, it still turns on the perks, so it still is useful to turn on the power, because without the perks, you're kinda gonna die. And overall, it feels a lot less luck-based, since they have a lot better wall weapons. The Thompson, the MP40, and the STG-44, all amazing weapons. The mystery box can get you the ray gun and all the good guns. I've actually gotten the ray gun a couple times on this map, and well, it makes it really fun to have it. My high round on this map is wave 14, which, well, still isn't impressive compared to what I've done on other maps. It is pretty high for old classic zombies. Verrückt just has a good gameplay loop. Unfortunately, the sprinters make it worse. In the fall of the barriers, oh my sweet old barriers. From me glazing them in Nocturne and Towin, I don't ever even touch the barriers because it's almost impossible to actually try to fix them. The zombies are just way too quick, and even with Speed Cola, which does speed up the building process, it's just not useful. There's just so many barriers that at this point it's almost impossible to even keep track of them. So I just let them come in. I don't really care. It's just way too hard to be trying to go back and forth to the same one, because by the time you build one, the other one's broken because they spawn in immediately. They don't even give you like a 5-second break. Also, nukes now get you points finally, which is great. I don't know why they didn't give you points in Nocturne and Towin. The gameplay overall is really fun, and I'm gonna go give it a 7 out of 10. It's basically just Nocturne and Towin with perks, and it's bigger. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a great training spot. I usually use the quick revive room and then run into the room with the dripping water. That's usually where I go. I wish you'd go to a courtyard, that'd be fun. And it is a lot more fun than Nocturne and Towin thanks to the perks and better wall weapons and less reliance on the luck of the mystery box. The personality of this map. Verrückt just seems less charming than Nocturne and Towin. Nocturne and Towin just has this perfect feel, it's scary. This is where zombies came a little more comedic, and while I love it, we still haven't hit perfection yet with the operators. We don't have our Edward Richtophens.
If I had designed this, it would have sucked and not blown.
And while we have the funny zombie screaming, going, it's just not the same as Nocturne and Towin's quieter, more scary looking zombies. The map is a lot brighter too, and well, it's just not as interesting. They also added commentary to when you pick up the power-ups, which is awesome, I love that.
Double points!
Max ammo! The jingles were added in this, and we all love Juggernaut, Quick Revive, and Speed Cola's jingles. Double Tap is also great too, I don't know why I acted like it isn't. All the perk jingles are fun to listen to, and I just like being able to kill zombies, and all I hear is... I wish Verrückt just did more with the Insane Asylum feel. I wish there was something that made it more obvious, It just doesn't feel it. Imagine that there was zombies in rooms, shaking at the doors. I saw one zombie do this. It, grabbed his head and was freaking out. That's cool. The sprinters obviously make it feel like an Insane Asylum. Imagine the zombies were actually more crazy, just actually, being insane and ripping off the board insane and, grabbing at you. That would be cool, something like that, right? I understand those Xbox 360 hardware and they couldn't really do that much, but I feel like they could have done something. It just kind of feels like Nocturne and Towin with different looks, it's just a reskin of Nocturne and Towin. And with that, the personality is a 5 out of 10. It just isn't as strong as Nocturne and Towin. It doesn't give me more of a feeling of being scared. I feel like I'm always on edge, mainly because of the sprinters. But overall, it's just a middle of the pack personality-wise. I do like some of the little mini Easter eggs they have, though, like if you go up to the saw table and start screaming. Overall, it's just not as good as Nocturne and Towin's personality, and that's why it gets the rating it does get. Now it's time to talk about replayability, and well, this map is more replayable than Nocturne and Towin by a long shot. The perks, the better wall weapons, and the less reliance on luck makes this just more fun in general. The perks give you something to get you stronger. There's something to work towards. And Nocturne and Towin, after you get the mystery box, that's it. You've gotten as powerful as you get. Once you get a ray gun, that's it. That's as powerful as you get. And while it's still pretty fun to just have a simple zombies mode, being able to get perks that make you stronger as a character, it just makes it better to have something that can actually make you the character more powerful than just grabbing a ray gun. And with the fact that there's 2 spawn rooms, it makes you have different plans for each time. Personally, I like spawning in the Juggernaut room because it gets me to the MP40 quicker, which I think is better than the Thompson. Weapons like the PPSH make it fun. Of course, unfortunately, that's in the mystery box because, you know, I can't have fun. This map just feels a little more replayable. I can get higher rounds on it with the perks. It just gives me something bigger to achieve than just hoping I can get the ray gun. Which is why I'm going to be giving a replayability an 8 out of 10. It is more replayable. I love the fact that I can just work towards something and get something better. This is Nocturne Towing with perks and a bigger map, and somewhat of an objective we're trying to turn on the power. And while the sprinters can be annoying, if you do have the perks, it kind of negates them, and at that point, you're basically invincible. It's just that, unfortunately, you're going to eventually just get trapped in a corner or something and basically die always after, like, round 12. But that's just old zombies for you. That's just what it does. Verrückt is overall a better experience than Nocturne Towing. With the perks and better wall weapons, it's more replayable and a lot more fun to play. Unfortunately, with that, the personality fell off. It just doesn't have the same charm as Nocturne Towing did. That's why overall, it will still be getting a rating of a 5 out of 10. But if we go to the tier list here, it is ahead of Nocturne Towing. It's in front of it. I believe it's a better map overall. The gameplay is just a lot more strong in this map than it was in Nocturne Towing. Verrückt didn't do the best job of trying to not feel like a Nocturne Towing clone, but it did its best. While it feels slightly different from Nocturne Towing from the gameplay, the design of it just feels like brighter Nocturne Towing, which isn't a good thing. But what are your guys' opinions on Verrückt? Do you like it more than Noct or less than Noct? Do you think it's great or do you think it's bad? What do you think? But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!